Have you ever noticed that there is a strange kind of exhaustion that sleep cannot fix? It is not the tiredness of a long day of work or physical labor. It is the deep, silent fatigue of always having to be strong. If you have ever felt emotionally exhausted, if you are tired of being the pillar that everyone else leans on, while secretly feeling like you are crumbling inside, this is for you. Most people do not realize that the heaviest burden we carry is not our actual struggles. It is the unbreakable mask we wear to hide them. You know the feeling. You walk out into the world with your armor on. You smile when you are expected to smile. You solve the problems. You listen to the complaints of others. You swallow your own frustration so you do not burden anyone else. You push through the stress at work. You manage the expectations of your family, and you say, "I am fine," when you are silently breaking. You have become the strong one, the one who never bends, the one who has it all together. But what happens when you finally come home? What happens when the door clicks shut and no one is watching? Often there is a collapse, a sudden, overwhelming heaviness. The silence in the room feels deafening. You sit there and realize that you have spent all your energy holding up a version of yourself that is completely unnatural to maintain. Buddhist wisdom teaches that much of our suffering comes from attachment, not just to things or to people, but to our own identity. We cling to a rigid idea of who we are supposed to be. Somewhere along the way, you attached yourself to the identity of the invincible wall. You believe that if you show a single crack, if you admit that you are hurting, lost, or simply exhausted, everything you have built will fall apart. You fear that people will be disappointed, or worse, that they will leave. But the tighter you hold on to this image of perfection, the more you suffer. Imagine holding a heavy stone with your arm outstretched. For the first few minutes, it is easy. You feel strong, you feel capable. But an hour passes, then a day, then a year. The stone has not changed weight, but the effort required to hold it is tearing you apart. The pain becomes unbearable not because the stone is impossible to carry, but because you refuse to put it down to rest. Ask yourself right now, what are you still holding on to? Who are you trying so hard to be strong for? And what are you afraid will happen if you finally let your arm drop? We live in a world that praises endless resilience. We are taught to push through, to hide our tears, to never show vulnerability. But living a life where you never allow yourself to be soft is not true strength. It is a defense mechanism. It is a locked door, keeping your true self hidden in the dark. Pause, breathe, let that sink in. You do not have to be the unshakable mountain every single day. When you are alone, observe the thought that tells you that you must always hold it together. Watch that thought rise without making it your absolute truth. You do not have to perform for an empty room. You can drop the stone, because peace is not something you force into existence. It is something you make space for when you finally stop pretending. But letting go of the need to be strong can feel terrifying. When you have held the roof up for so long, you become convinced that without you, the whole house will crash down. And this is where the next truth begins. 2. The illusion of collapse. What if the disaster you are so afraid of is just an illusion created by your own exhaustion? Here is a truth few people want to face. The world will not stop spinning just because you decide to take a step back. The sky will not fall just because you lower your hands. When you have been the strong one for so long, a deep anxiety takes root in your mind. You begin to believe that your constant tension, your endless worrying, and your rigid control are the only things keeping your life intact. You think that if you say no to a demand at work, the project will fail. You believe that if you do not step in to fix a family conflict, the relationships will shatter. You fear that if you actually pause and admit you are overwhelmed, everything you have worked so hard to build will instantly collapse. So, you keep going. You push past the fatigue. You ignore the quiet voice inside pleading for rest. But Buddhist wisdom teaches us that this belief is born from the illusion of control. We suffer because we believe we are the center of the circumstances around us, holding all the strings. Buddhism reminds us of a humbling yet profoundly liberating truth. The universe does not require your anxiety to function. Life has a natural rhythm, a flow of impermanence that operates perfectly well without your interference. Imagine a person standing in the middle of a rushing river, desperately trying to push the water back with their bare hands. They push and push, muscles burning, exhausted, believing that if they stop, the river will destroy them. But the river was never attacking them. It was simply flowing. If that person finally drops their hands, stops fighting, and steps to the side, they do not drown. The water simply rushes past. You are standing in that river. The rushing water is your daily stress, the demands of others, the deadlines, and the endless expectations. You are fighting so hard to hold it all back. But what if you just stopped pushing? Think about your own life. When someone asks for more than you can give, you agree anyway, terrified of disappointing them. When a relationship starts to fade, you overcompensate, trying to force someone to stay. You carry the weight of everyone else's emotions, convinced you are the glue holding it all together. Ask yourself, is your constant need to be strong actually helping, or is it just feeding your fear of losing control? What if letting things fall apart a little is exactly what needs to happen for things to naturally fall into their proper place? Pause. Breathe. Observe your urge to fix everything. Stop trying to force the door open. Let people be responsible for their own journeys. Let situations resolve themselves. Do your part, and then gently release the outcome. You will be amazed to discover that when you stop holding everything up, it does not collapse. It simply settles. You do not need to be the savior of every situation. You do not have to carry the ocean to prove you can swim. But releasing control is difficult when your entire sense of self is tied to being the one who never breaks. Because beneath every reaction is a hidden story we tell about ourselves. And this is where the next truth begins. What if the identity you are most proud of is the very cage keeping you trapped? Here is a truth that is deeply uncomfortable to accept. Sometimes, we do not just play the role of the strong one, we fall in love with it. We crave the quiet validation that comes from being the rock. Think about how it happens. Someone praises you for your resilience. They tell you how much they admire your ability to handle anything life throws at you. You hear it from your family, your friends, or your co-workers. Slowly, without even realizing it, you take those words and build an entire personality around them. You become the reliable one, the problem solver, the one who needs no help and asks for no favors. You learn to swallow your sadness because sadness does not fit the character you have chosen to play. But this chosen identity comes with a heavy price. When you are alone, the exhaustion sets in, leaving you hollow. You realize you have traded your authentic emotions for a label. In Buddhist thought, one of the deepest lessons is that suffering arises when we cling to a fixed, permanent idea of who we are. This is the concept of attachment to the self. Buddhism reminds us that we are not a single, unchanging thing. We are fluid. We change like the seasons. You are allowed to be strong today and fragile tomorrow. But when you attach yourself tightly to a single label like being unbreakable, you go against the natural changing flow of life. You force yourself to freeze in one shape, and anything that refuses to bend will eventually break. Imagine a warrior who puts on a heavy iron suit of armor to survive a fierce battle. The armor saves their life. But when the war is over, instead of taking it off, the warrior continues to wear it. They wear it to sleep. They wear it to eat. They wear it to walk through peaceful fields. Eventually, the very armor that once protected them becomes the weight that crushes them. They have worn it for so long that they have forgotten what the sun feels like on their bare skin. You are walking through a peaceful field, but you are still wearing your armor. You wear it when a loved one asks how you are, and you reflexively say, "I am fine," even when your heart is heavy. You wear it when you are overwhelmed with responsibilities, refusing to ask for help because you fear it will ruin your capable reputation. You are so attached to being the strong one that you have forgotten how to simply be human. Ask yourself, who are you when there is no crisis to solve? Who are you when no one is watching, when there is nothing to fix and no one to impress? Is this rigid identity bringing you peace, or is it feeding your exhaustion? Pause. Breathe. Let the feeling of having to perform rise and gently fade away. Observe the thought without letting it dictate your actions. You do not need to defend a title. You are not a statue carved from stone. You are a living being who is allowed to put the burden down. Because peace is not found in being invincible. Peace is found when you realize you never had to be. But letting go of that armor leaves you bare. And when the noise of the world fades, you are forced to confront whatever is left behind. And this is where the next truth begins. 4. The river and the dam. What if your effort to hold everything inside is exactly what is drowning you? Here is the truth few people want to face. Containing your emotions does not make them disappear. It only builds the pressure. Think about how many times you have swallowed your tears, how many times you have pushed down your frustration, your anger, or your sadness, simply because the timing was not right or because you did not want to inconvenience anyone else. You smile through the storm. You convince yourself that by ignoring the heavy feelings, you are mastering them. You believe that keeping a perfectly calm surface means you are completely in control. But in Buddhist thought, true emotional mastery is not suppression, it is observation. Buddhist wisdom teaches us that emotions are not permanent fixtures, they are simply energy moving through us. The nature of all things is impermanence. Emotions arise, they stay for a while, and if we let them, they quietly pass away. Suffering happens when we try to block this natural flow. When we attach ourselves to the appearance of calmness, we ironically create massive internal turbulence. Imagine a massive concrete dam built across a rushing river. From the outside, the dam looks majestic, unshakable, and completely in control. But behind that thick wall, the water level is rising. The pressure is immense. Millions of gallons of water are pushing against the structure, desperately searching for a way out. The dam has to stand completely rigid, working tirelessly just to keep from shattering. And eventually, all it takes is one small, invisible crack for the whole structure to burst, causing a devastating flood. Now imagine the river flowing freely without a dam. It does not fight the heavy rocks. It simply moves around them. It is peaceful because it remains in motion. You have been building a dam inside your chest. You take the stress from your job, the unspoken hurts in your relationships, the fear of failing, and the quiet loneliness, and you lock it all behind a concrete wall of forced stoicism. But the water is rising. This is why a simple, misunderstood comment from a friend can suddenly make you furiously angry. This is why dropping a glass on the kitchen floor can suddenly make you burst into tears. It is not about the glass, it is the crack in the dam. Ask yourself, are you a river or are you a dam? How much pressure are you holding back right now just to appear perfectly fine? What are you afraid will happen if you finally let the water flow? Pause. Breathe. Let the feeling rise without making it your identity. You do not have to store every hurt. You do not have to contain every fear. When sadness comes, let it come. Let it wash over you and leave. Stop trying to hold back the tide. Let the storm pass without becoming the storm. Because peace is not the absence of emotion. It is the freedom to let emotions move through you without destroying you, but to let the water flow. You must first give yourself the one thing you have denied yourself for so long, and this is where the next truth begins. 5. Permission to be fragile. What if the most courageous thing you can do today is admit that you are breaking? Here is the truth few people want to face. You have given everyone else the grace to be human, but you have mercilessly denied it to yourself. Think about how you treat the people you love. When a friend calls you in tears, overwhelmed by their life, you do not tell them to toughen up. You listen. You comfort them. You tell them it is perfectly okay to feel lost. When a family member is exhausted, you tell them to rest. You forgive others for stumbling. You hold space for their pain without judgment. But when it comes to yourself, the rules completely change. You hold yourself to an impossible, punishing standard. If you shed a tear, you label it as weakness. If you need a day to do absolutely nothing, you call it laziness. If you admit you do not have the answers, you feel like a failure. You are carrying a crushing double standard, constantly fighting your own natural need for comfort. You have become your own harshest judge. Buddhist wisdom teaches us the practice of deep, unconditional compassion, and it mandates that this compassion must begin inward. We often focus on being kind to the world, but Buddhism reminds us that we are part of that world too. To fight your own fragility is to fight the reality of your human experience. Suffering multiplies not just from the pain we feel, but from our aggressive refusal to accept that we are in pain. Imagine an ancient tree standing on the edge of a high cliff. When a massive, violent storm rolls in, the fierce winds tear through the valley. If the tree decides it must remain perfectly rigid, if it refuses to yield a single inch to prove its strength, the wind will eventually snap its branches or uproot it entirely. But the wisest trees in the forest do not fight the wind. They bend. They let their branches dip low. They lose a few leaves. They allow themselves to look fragile, swayed and tossed by the storm. And because they allow themselves to bend, they do not break. When the morning sun finally rises, they are still standing. You are standing in the storm of your daily life. You are facing the pressures of your career, the complicated expectations of your family, the fear of falling behind, or the heavy silence of your own anxious thoughts. And instead of bending, you are forcing yourself to remain completely rigid. You think yielding means you have failed. Ask yourself, why do you believe you must be made of iron? When did you decide that your worth in this world was tied to how much pain you could silently endure? Pause. Breathe. Give yourself the permission you give to strangers. Let the feeling of exhaustion rise without fighting it. Say to yourself in the quiet of your mind, I am allowed to be tired. I am allowed to rest. I do not have to hold up the sky today. Observe the relief that washes over you when you finally let go of the rigid expectations. Because true peace begins the moment you stop punishing yourself for being human. But accepting your fragility means eventually confronting the quiet space where you have hidden your deepest fears. And this is where the next truth begins. 6. The quiet emptiness behind closed doors. What if the silence you are constantly running from is the exact place where your peace is waiting? Here is a truth few people want to face. We are terrified of the quiet. Think about what happens when the day finally ends. You have performed your duties perfectly. You have smiled, worked, and solved the problems of everyone around you. You finally return home, walk inside, and the door clicks shut behind you. You are alone. The mask can finally come off. But instead of feeling relieved, you are hit with a sudden, unsettling emptiness. The silence in the room feels heavy. It feels dangerous. To avoid it, you immediately reach for a distraction. You turn on the television just to have background noise. You endlessly scroll through social media, absorbing the lives of strangers. You find busy work around the house. You do everything in your power to avoid simply sitting in the stillness, because the moment you stop moving, all the thoughts and exhaustion you suppressed during the day come rushing to the surface. You realize your life feels like it is collapsing the moment there is no one around to witness you holding it together. Buddhist wisdom teaches us that this emptiness is not a void to be feared. It is a profound teacher. In Buddhist thought, the practice of sitting with oneself, mindfulness and stillness, is the gateway to true liberation. We suffer because we constantly seek external noise to drown out our internal reality. We become deeply attached to being distracted. But Buddhism reminds us that the noise of the world will never heal the wounds of the mind. You cannot run away from yourself forever. Imagine a single candle resting on a table in a dark room. If the window is left open and the wind of the outside world rushes in, the flame flickers violently. It dances frantically, casting chaotic and frightening shadows on the walls. The room feels unstable, but if you simply close the window and allow the air to settle, the flame stops fighting. It burns steady, calm, and bright. The frightening shadows disappear. The room did not change, and the dark did not go away. The peace came because the stillness was finally allowed to enter. You have been living with the window wide open. You let the winds of modern life blow through your mind constantly. You invite in the stress of work emails after hours, the pressure of comparing yourself to what you see on social media, and the endless, loud chatter of the world. You never let your own flame settle. So when the physical room gets quiet, your mind is still violently flickering. Ask yourself, what are you avoiding when you instantly reach for distraction the moment you are alone? What is the quiet trying to tell you that you are so afraid to hear? Is the noise truly comforting you, or is it just delaying the inevitable exhaustion? Pause, breathe. Tonight, do not turn on the screen immediately. Just sit in the silence for 1 minute. Let the discomfort rise. Observe the urge to distract yourself without following it. Be the steady flame. Do not run from the quiet emptiness. Step into it, because peace is not found by constantly escaping your own mind. It is found when you finally make friends with the silence. But to truly sit in that silence without falling apart, you must completely redefine what it means to be strong. And this is where the next truth begins. 7. True strength is softness. What if everything you were taught about strength is completely backwards? Here is the truth few people want to face. Hardness is not power. It is simply a state of being easily broken. Think about how you have trained yourself to survive. You have learned to take the hit without flinching. When someone betrays you, when you are criticized, or when a relationship slowly falls apart, your immediate instinct is to harden your heart. You build a massive, invisible wall. You convince yourself that if you care a little less, if you expect the worst from people, and if you never let anyone see your vulnerable side, you will never be hurt again. You equate being cold and guarded with being invincible, but living this way takes an immense, silent toll on your soul. Inside that impenetrable fortress, you may feel safe, but you are entirely alone. Buddhist wisdom teaches us that true strength is never found in rigidity. It is found in yielding. In Buddhist thought, the nature of water is often used as the ultimate symbol of resilience. Things that are stiff, dry, and rigid are close to death. Things that are soft, open, and flexible are full of life. We suffer when we attach ourselves to the false belief that we must physically and emotionally fight the world to survive it. Imagine a heavy, jagged boulder resting in the middle of a rushing stream. The boulder looks dominant. It is immovable, harsh, and tough. But over time, the soft, gentle water flows continuously over it. The water does not try to smash the rock. It does not stubbornly fight the obstacle. It simply remains fluid, adjusting perfectly to whatever is in its path. And over the years, it is the soft water that completely shapes, smooths, and eventually wears down the hard stone. The rock resisted and was slowly destroyed. The water yielded and remained whole. You have spent your whole life trying to be the boulder. When you face a difficult confrontation at work, you turn to stone. When you feel lonely or misunderstood by your family, you shut out the world. When you feel behind in life, you become rigid and closed off. But what if you chose to be the water? What if true strength means remaining soft, open, and compassionate, even when the world around you is harsh? It takes absolutely no courage to build a wall. It takes immense bravery to keep your heart open. Ask yourself, are you truly strong, or are you just heavily guarded? Is your hardness actually protecting your peace, or is it just keeping the warmth of life from reaching you? Pause, breathe, drop your shoulders, unclench your jaw. Observe your instinct to immediately defend yourself against everything around you. Choose softness today. Let the hurtful words of others pass around you like water around a stone, without letting them change your fundamental nature. Because peace is not a fortress you must endlessly defend. It is an open space you trust yourself to inhabit. But to live without those heavy walls, you must have something far deeper holding you up from the inside. And this is where the next truth begins. 8. Rebuilding from the roots. What if the reason you feel like you are collapsing when you are alone is because your entire foundation was built on the expectations of others? Here is the truth few people want to face. You have spent your whole life constructing a beautiful, towering building, but you planted it in someone else's soil. Think about how you measure your own stability. You feel secure when your boss praises your relentless hard work. You feel worthy when your family leans on you for advice. You feel valuable when your friends tell you how much they need you. You have constructed your entire sense of self around being useful, being needed, and being approved of by the outside world. But when you are finally alone, when the applause fades and there is no one left to need your help, the structure begins to shake. You feel completely lost in the silence. Without their gaze, you do not know who you are. Buddhist wisdom teaches us that seeking permanence in the opinions of others is the root of profound suffering. Buddhism reminds us that the external world is constantly shifting. People change their minds. Loved ones come and go. Careers rise and fall. If your inner peace is attached to how the world views your strength, you will always be at the mercy of their changing weather. True refuge cannot be found in the outside world. It must be cultivated from within. Imagine a massive, beautiful tree growing in a crowded park. Its branches stretch incredibly wide, covered in thick green leaves, providing shelter for everyone who passes by. People admire it. They gather under it. But beneath the soil, its roots are dangerously shallow. It poured all its life energy into growing outward, into looking magnificent and being useful for the world above ground. One evening, when the park is completely empty, a slow, heavy wind rolls through. Because it has nothing anchoring it in the dark, unseen earth below, the massive tree quietly topples over under its own weight. Now imagine a tree that spent years quietly pushing its roots deep into the dark, silent earth before it ever grew a single branch. It does not exist just to provide shade for others. It exists for itself. And because of those deep roots, no storm can move it. You have been the tree with shallow roots. You have poured all your energy outward into your job title, into maintaining the perfect relationship, into being the ultimate caregiver. You look unbreakable to everyone else, but behind closed doors, you collapse. because you never took the time to grow deep roots into your own quiet soul. Ask yourself, who are you when no one is watching? If you could not solve a single problem for anyone else today, would you still feel worthy? Are you building your life on the shifting sands of human approval, or on the solid ground of your own inner truth? Pause, breathe, observe the desperate urge to be needed. When that feeling rises, do not rush out to fix someone else's problem just to feel valuable. Stay right where you are. Begin to shift your energy downward. Nurture your own roots in the quiet. Reclaim the energy you so freely give away. Because true stability is not about holding up the world for everyone else. It is about finally letting the earth hold you. But to truly rebuild a life that does not collapse in the dark, you must be willing to let go of the heavy disguise you have worn for so long. And this is where the final truth begins. 9. Laying down the armor. What if the peace you have been desperately searching for is not found in becoming stronger, but in finally allowing yourself to be soft? We began this journey by looking at the deep, silent exhaustion that sleep cannot fix. We talked about the heavy mask you wear when you walk out into the world, and the quiet collapse that happens the moment the door clicks shut behind you. You have carried the immense weight of being the strong one for so long that you forgot how to simply be human. You built a concrete dam to hold back the river of your emotions. You wore a heavy suit of armor long after the battle was over. You poured all your energy into being a tree that provided shade for everyone else, while your own roots starved in the dark. But now you know the truth. Buddhist wisdom teaches us that true liberation is not a place you arrive at by fighting harder. It is what naturally remains when you finally stop fighting. Non-attachment does not mean abandoning the people you love or giving up on your responsibilities. It simply means letting go of the exhausting illusion that you must always control the weather. It is the profound realization that the world will not collapse just because you take a moment to breathe. Think about the immense freedom waiting for you on the other side of this exhaustion. When you stop obsessing over how you appear to the world, you finally have the energy to discover who you actually are. When you stop trying to fix every broken thing around you, you finally make space to heal yourself. Inner peace is not a trophy awarded to the person who can silently endure the most pain. It is the natural consequence of respecting yourself enough to let go. Imagine yourself returning home tonight. The door clicks shut, the room is quiet, but this time, the silence does not feel terrifying. It feels like a sanctuary. You do not reach for a screen to distract yourself. You do not run from the stillness. Instead, you mentally unbuckle the heavy armor you wore all day. You let it drop to the floor. You set down the heavy stone you have been carrying for years. You stand in the quiet emptiness, entirely vulnerable, and you realize you are safe. The house does not fall down. The earth still holds you. You are completely whole. Tomorrow, the world will still have its demands. There will still be loud deadlines, messy misunderstandings, and unexpected challenges. Life will continue its unpredictable, impermanent flow. But you no longer have to face it as a rigid stone wall. You can meet it as water. You can bend like the wisest tree in the storm. You can observe your anxious thoughts without letting them drag you into the current. You can step into the world as you are human, fragile, and profoundly resilient because of it. You have spent a lifetime proving your strength to the world. You have absolutely nothing left to prove. It is time to turn that deep, unwavering compassion inward. It is time to create a life that feels just as steady in the dark as it looks in the light. If these lessons touched your heart, share this video with someone who may need a little more peace today. You can put the heavy stone down now.